Hello everyone, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Heyley, and welcome to Little Things,
our little podcast
to make your life a little fuller. Welcome to our second episode, Being Original. So, first we would like to introduce our guest speakers of today. So, I believe they are the second most nonchalant and mysterious people I know.
Right.
So, please welcome Cassley, Zafrana, and Jayden.
Yay!
Hi guys. Please
Enter the frame.
Hello. Okay, so how our podcast works is we only have 2 mics, unfortunately. So we're just gonna pass around. I'm gonna ask questions, and you guys can say anything you want. This is a very, very safe space. Okay, so first of all, do you guys want to quickly introduce yourselves, who you are, to our viewership?
My name's Jayden.
Are you happy to be invited?
Yeah, I'm extremely happy to be invited.
Really? Are you like giggling and kicking your feet, that kind of excited?
Yeah, that kind of excitement, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hi, I'm Cassley.
I'm Zafrana.
Okay, anyways, first of all, I would like to thank you guys for, agreeing to be part of this podcast. You guys are
First group of people that we thought of to join this podcast.
Sorry, I have a really bad stuttering problem nowadays, so I'm trying to recover from that. Okay, so first question is that I told you guys to think about was, what are your first impressions of others and how do you think makes, everyone original?
Well, I'll start with Zafrana. Okay, we'll go in a circle. I think I met you back in year 7, right? And I think my first impression was that you were really fun to be around and really funny too, because you would always make me laugh. And then Jayden, I think I met him this year or last year.
Okay.
Because of Chardonnay. You were really outgoing and very friendly. Okay. And then for Cassley, you're a really witty person,
Thank you.
And then Heyley, I think my first impression was wow, she's really expressive. In a really good way.
Oh, okay.
Really open, super easy to get along with. And yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, anyone want to
so
go next?
I'll go next. I'm going to go this way. So Ashley, I think when I first met you, I always thought you were so academically driven and you were so passionate about everything. And I really wanted to be your friend. But we weren't close until I think this year. But I'm really glad that we got close. You're a very loving and caring person, and I really respect that about you. Cassley, I really wanted to talk about your impression because it's crazy. So when I first met you, I think it was because of Neptune. And I thought you were so intimidating. I actually felt I don't, besides student council, I wouldn't be able to be friends with you because of how far off in status we are. That's how I viewed it. I thought you were so cool.
Wow.
But now that we're pretty close and I got to know you, I know that you're so full of love and you're also really considerate, especially to your friends, and you're also so full of life, which I also really respect. But for Zafrana, I think I don't know when I met you, but I remember a really fond starting point of our friendship was probably basketball. Yeah. I was never really good at it, but you always took the time. You were so patient to teach me, and you always were so open, and you would introduce me to so many new friends. And I'm pretty extroverted, but at the same time I'm not really good at making friends, but you really helped me, open up and all that. So really respect that about you. I'm really glad that we got close, obviously, and hope we're always close. For Jayden, okay, let me see. Jayden, I genuinely thought you were really nonchalant. I felt like you were, you were also so intimidating. But then for you, I thought you were always so tough. On the outside, but that's only on the outside until recently I realized you're actually a really kind person. You're a big softie, but no one really knows that about you.
So for Ashley, I think I met you I've seen you around school quite a few times. I've seen you because we've been in the same school for so long. I've seen you a few times, and I always see you with your school bag, which is a suitcase. And I've seen you pull it around. It's oh, that girl. she must be so smart. She must have so many books and so many stationaries in there that she can't even carry them. She must be the smartest girl ever. And I think I was right. Like, I actually thought you were like so smart and so intelligent. So that's so like funny. I think that's so funny and really like sweet memory of like how before I was friends with you, I kind of like had this impression of you, and I think I was like somewhat right.
Thank you.
And then I'll go with Jayden next, because Jayden, out of all of you, also your phone is ringing a lot, but out of
Just
all
ignore
of
it.
you, I've known you for the absolute longest. I've known you since year 1, and then you got a perm, and then you're just a completely new person. And then,
that's so true. That's so
right?
true.
After you got a perm, you've been like so different, and then we started being friends, like really, really close friends last year, with our whole friend group and a lot of other amazing people that we met, and that was like really nice. Heyley, I've always thought you were so like bright and like you got such like a loud, happy personality, and you're also one of the people that I really, really wanted to be friends with, and I'm so surprised that was your impression of me, because my impression of you was so different. I thought you were so loud and so full of energy and so full of life, and you were someone I really wanted to be friends with. And Zafrana, we started getting closer and closer, and then now you're one of my closest friends, and you know, that's, yay, I'm so happy.
I mean, we can make more memories in the future.
Amazing.
There's more to come.
Absolutely. You want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Honestly, I'll start with Heyley. I remember the first time we met was actually because of high jump, actually, before we got into basketballs and stuff. Honestly, our whole bond was full of like sports and stuff, and we technically bonded through that. But then we always had our backs at the end of the day, and we never jumped into conclusion. We're always like talking things out, and that's what I really enjoyed about like us being so open in both ends in order to have like a fruitful conversation. And I'll be moving on now, but I'm really grateful to have a friend like you, and you're one of my closest. I love you so much. I'll go on to Jayden. Honestly, I would say we just met this year and got to know you a bit more this year, and I really found you nonchalant, like Heyley said. So yeah, I think we can make more memories in the future and have a closer bond.
Definitely.
Anyways, I'll move on to Cassley. The first time I met you, you gave the girl boss vibe. I was like, wow, the way she walks, the way she enters a room is actually like, have you noticed that? Like, it's she's like, she walks in like she owns the place, and that's the type of confidence I actually look out in people. That's so impressive. Moving on to Ashley, I met her since year 7, and it's honestly one of the most W friendships I have. And I'd say, actually, you were always so outgoing, so joyful. Like, you found, like, even if something bad happens, you always find the positive side of that. And like, I actually really like that, because that at the start of year 7, I wasn't really that outgoing type of person, and eventually when I started getting closer to you, that kind of rubbed off on me. And then I feel like eventually I also started seeing things in a positive view, and that actually helped like my mental well-being a lot. And I genuinely treasure our friendships. Like, it's when, like, you know those friendships when you don't talk often, but when you talk to them, it's like as if the last time you left it's just the same energy, the same vibe, and I really treasure that. And I love you so much.
I love you too.
Okay, so I'm gonna start from Ashley. So like my first impression of you was like you were really smart, because like I saw you carrying the suitcase around everywhere, like Cassley said. Really, like, and then you also looked very smart too. So then I was kind of like intimidated by your intelligence. It's like,
Don't be intimidated.
This girl must be like so smart. And then like for Cassie, I think the latest first impression I can remember is that you're just very intimidating. You're very intimidating. But then like in primary, you were like completely a different person. You're like completely different.
Yeah, I think a lot changed since I was in primary.
In Zafrana, my first impression of you was like you were a really good basketball player. That's my first impression of you.
Thank you so much.
And I also thought you were pretty mysterious. Honestly, I haven't like gotten to know you that well, so I feel like you're still pretty mysterious.
Yeah.
Well, and like,
eventually.
and like for Heyley, I feel like she claims herself to be nonchalant, but she's like the least nonchalant person ever.
Since like our friendship started. You in real life is the most outgoing, joyful, loudest, like in a really good way. Like, you know when the person who walked in and they just hype up the energy, like it could be a really dead room, and that's the type of person you are, and then you bring a lot of joy in everyone to like start talking, getting it moving and stuff. That's what I really admire about you.
So I think I think having a good first impression is important, but then it is also really important to show your most authentic and true self. So, my question to you guys is how much of yourself do you show others, especially during first impressions?
I feel like I was never the type of person to change my certain way of how I am to
I will clap
impress
to that.
someone else, or like if they match my vibe, that means they match my vibe, because I really want to find those true friends who are actually really genuine and not just like a whole different person than who they say like they're not, they put on like a show. And I would, for my first time, I would usually say that when I meet someone, it usually depends on them, on how comfortable they are and how our bond goes. And eventually, usually all my friends, like the ones I meet like at MUN and stuff, we just instantly click, because like we're like bonding over like different topics, we're debating, and it's more of when we just start talking about tea and drama at school, and then we just like, it's like that's when you discover a lot. And then it's like it really depends on the other person. It's like it's really mutual, and as more they like, the more they show, the more I show, and that's like really equal and mutual. Yeah.
Me personally, I think putting on a persona for other people isn't like a good thing to do. I think like introducing you as yourself is like the best thing that you can do. And if they don't really like you for yourself, then should you really be friends with them? So me personally, I think that, and I don't like put up a persona just to like meet other people, but I feel like I don't introduce myself like a lot to other people. Like I keep like segments of myself for like close friends or like normal friends. I feel like if you introduce yourself completely to another person, it will put like a lot of pressure on them, because maybe they want like a boundary and they don't want to be too close like at first sight. And I feel like if you put too much of yourself onto them, then maybe some people will like it, but maybe some people won't. So I feel like putting on personas and everything just to not be yourself to meet other people is not a good thing to do, because then you have to like try and take off that persona, and you have to like try and keep playing that persona with that specific person. And it's just like, it's tiring, and I think it's generally like a bad thing to put up with.
For me, I think, because I meet a lot of people, I'm always like being introduced to a lot of new people every day. So for me, I don't really introduce myself as my full personality in front of everyone. I think only my closest friends or people in like a close social circle of mine actually sees me for who I am, like who actually knows me, right? And then people who I don't really am close with, who I just meet, maybe say hi on a daily basis, those people I don't really show myself as much as I do my closest friends. So my closest friends would like see my crash outs, my my full personality, all my likes and dislikes. Those people are like true friends that I'll actually show my personality to. And I guess it's not really a persona for me. I think it's just I try not to reveal myself that much in front of like people that I'm not familiar with, because I don't know, it makes me feel more secure that my closest friends know me more than anyone else. Yeah.
I think, like, I like to think that I'm the same person to everyone, but I feel like it depends on the person that I meet. Yeah, and, like, okay, if I meet someone for the first time, I feel like I would try and analyze how they act, because I don't want to, like, leave them hanging, if that makes sense. Like, I would try and match the vibe they're going for, like, just to make them feel okay with who they are. But, like, I don't think that's a bad thing, because I'm not necessarily changing who I am. I'm just
Reciprocating that energy.
yeah, like, I'm just adapting to them. But to summarize whatever I just said, I usually show who I really am to everyone else, but it's like a percentage, you know, of how much people see of me. Like you said, my closest friends probably see a lot more of me than other people. And
I'm actually a pretty enclosed person. I don't think a lot of people know who I am. I think I'd like to say I don't put up a persona, but I can tell myself that it's a lie, because I do. Because that, you know, energetic, that jolly energy, I guess you get from like me during first impressions. I think that is part of my persona. Like I like to say that I am a pretty energetic and fun loving person, but I like that dies down. That really dies down over time. And like I think I'm really scared that when that persona dies down, they don't like who I am. So that's why I'm really trying to change that about myself. So I'm trying to introduce myself as who I actually am and not this, and not always having or pressuring myself to feel like, oh, I have to be like really happy around them. I have to be like really joyful and really, really energetic and all that. But then I do understand why I put up a persona. It's just to protect myself and make sure I stay safe in my little bubble. So yeah, all in all, I think it's just to protect my heart, myself, and I guess that's why I put up a little persona. But I always try to be my most authentic self, and I am to a lot of my close friends. So yeah, that's my view on this question. Okay, so the question is, why do you think it is important to be your most authentic self?
I think it's important to be the truest version of yourself, especially in front of your friends, is because these people are the closest to you. These people you're supposed to stick with and supposed to have for a very long time. So which is why that it's important to have this persona, have this personality, because these people bring you comfort, bring you security, and that's why I think, it's
Yeah, I agree with you. And over time, I feel like when you have a fake show of yourself, eventually it really drains you. And
That's really true. I really wanted to.
because I feel like people will expect you to be that certain way because that's how you presented yourself as in the start. And for me, typically, I wouldn't show myself too much. It depends on how much the other person would show me, or like our values, basically, like how they treat me, or like how thick are we, or like do we go along well.
I think like being authentic is important because, like you said, if you're not authentic to other people, then you're kind of just like making yourself tired because you keep trying to put on that persona for some specific people. I think being your most authentic self is helpful because also, like you said, right? Because being with your closest friends, it's important to be authentic, or else like how would they actually help you go through like certain situations, or how would they like help you go through troubles that you ask them for help in if they don't really know your true personality, right? Because if you don't show people your true personality, they might mistake you for another person, whether that be for better or for worse, right? So I think that being your most authentic self is important not only to strangers, but also towards your friends. I feel like it's important because towards strangers, well, I think being your most authentic self just means that you can have a level of security around them. You don't have to be your truest self around them. But if you put on a persona just to impress them or just to try and get to know them, then I think that's kind of...
it gets kind of tiring.
Yeah, it gets kind of tiring. Yeah, that's what I think.
I will clap.
Yeah. And you'd like have a greater bond in general when you show your true self. It's when the other person knows that like, oh, they're like this kind of vibe, and like, oh, this is also my kind of vibe, and it's like a bond which is actually really pure and genuine, and there's no like cover behind it, and not like, oops, like today I'm like this, the next day I'm like that, and it's just they know that the same personality clutches together, and which causes a fruitful bond in general, and a long-lasting one, I would say, because people tend to like misunderstand. Maybe some people might think they're protective, and other people might think that they're just having like two faces, or you know what I mean? But in general, it's not like that. So I feel like if you don't get yourself in that situation itself in the first place, it's the best for like you, and it's like the best for you, honestly.
So I think it's most important to be your like authentic self because it is like a way to identify who truly cares for you and who truly loves you and who will be here for you in the long term. And I think on par with that is I really like having friends or having people around that I don't have to use my social battery with, because that proves to me that I think they are my close friend, or I think they belong inside my bubble. And I think this concept of not needing social battery around other people, that's how you prove like how much you genuinely care for them or genuinely love them.
I think that's also a very important point because I've met a lot of people who drains out my social battery. It makes me like not want to like talk to them as much. Maybe makes me tired, makes me want to go home. You know, like I think that's why it's so important to have a close circle of friends, and it's so important to be authentic to these close people because it also like gives them like your trust. It tells them that I trust you enough to show you my truest self, show you all my flaws and all my happiness and all my likes and dislikes. And I think it's so important. I think I love having a good like close circle, maybe even if it's 10 people or 100 people, just a bunch of people that I trust very, very much and that I could show everything to. It also it feels like good in my heart to have this.
Do you guys want to do like a special shout out since we're on the topic of not needing social battery around a group of people?
I guess we gotta mention this group chat. You know, many group chats we have.
Yes.
And yeah, it's like, it's a safe space. We get to talk, send really stupid reels.
Yeah, you're 10 and you're 11 gang.
Judge a little too hard on some people for very good reasons.
Hey,
you
I
know?
think
It's valid.
It's a healthy.
I mean, it happens. We're all humans.
And we all accept each other for our
Yes.
opinions on everything, which is a really good thing. And I feel safe.
vulnerable, so you know.
I think having a close group of friends, like you know the ones we have,
Oh, yeah, the
it's
group
like
chat.
really important because we can just share things with them, and then
Like, I love them. They're
yeah.
my closest friends.
yeah, I love them too. And then like we wouldn't get judged, and they wouldn't judge us, and then we could just like share our thoughts with them like 100% like completely. So I feel like having a really close group of friends that doesn't drain your social battery is like really important to like your mental health and you as a person.
Shout out to the waivers. If you guys know who the waivers
They
are,
don't. It's Ashley, Josie, Ching, and Jessica. So that's in school. But then I also want to give a big shout out to someone who she left school, but she is always so near and dear to my heart, which is Anson. I hope you're watching. Okay, what is your shout out?
oh, it
Who's
was
your
just to the
shout-out?
waivers. The same group of people that she mentioned who were in our last episode.
Ask where the name waivers come from.
Ooh, we would love to explain. We would love to.
So many.
Okay,
okay. Memories.
Okay.
So one day during a week B Thursday, we
It's very
had,
specific.
Yeah, very specific. Now, how we remember this is we had just finished a TOK lesson, and it was like homeroom time, and so we had like a little interval before our next TOK class. So what we were doing is we were just standing on the corridor, and we decided, why not bring some community and sense of belonging in school? So we started waving to everyone who came down the stairs.
Yeah.
So even though we mentioned this last episode, we would like to mention it again because we have a Week B Thursday coming up.
That's
So,
right,
like,
guys.
Remember to wave to us because we're always waving to people. I think it's like the main staircase because we can't.
The
our-
main staircase.
yeah, we
Should we
don't-
expand? Like, sorry.
expand our
Expand-
markets,
yeah.
expand our territories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, maybe other
Yeah.
staircases. Just wave back, guys.
Yes,
I
please.
want to say that I do literally notice you guys waving at me. Like, it started at the start of the year. I wasn't as close to you guys. And I remember seeing like a few girls, and I am very, very short-sighted, so I had no idea who was waving to me. And I was like, hi! And then they got so excited, and they're like jumping and waving back. Like they're like, and I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That's so nice. And then I found out like afterwards I was you guys, and I asked my friends because I can't see anything. So yeah, that was
We
like
thought
that's
you
so
knew.
sweet. I can't see anything. And I
She looks so happy as well.
I was like, oh my god, yeah. And I did like hi, and then you guys were like jumping around. I was like, oh wow.
They serve,
Yeah, it's so like it's so sweet and so like
just
friendly.
like boost you up in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh, what makes you different seeing everyone is striving towards a similar persona on social media?
I guess I'll start first. I think we see a lot of trends every day. We see a lot of trends on beauty, fashion, brands, or items, and everyone on the internet is trying to copy the same thing. And I think that these really like affect everyone. But I'm not the biggest follower of this trends because I think these die out pretty fast. So I think it's important on social media to have your own presence, to have your own style, so people who follow you will see your story and not mistake you for every other influencer, you know.
But I think what makes me different is that I don't feel obliged to post, or I don't feel obliged to update people that follow me, because I feel like the moment I do, I'll just be so hung up on social media that I start to lose the real me. So even on my close friends account or like my alt account, I don't post that much unless, you know, there's like a really fun hangout that I wanted to share some photos and all that. So I guess in a way that's what makes me different. Like I know I have a moral, I have a value to never feel pressured or obliged to update people about my life, because if I want to, then I will, and if I don't want to, you can't tell me to. So yeah, I think that's what makes me different.
I feel like for me, typically, I don't even update much on my Instagram. I live more, like recently I've been living life a bit more in real life than on my phone. Like my screen time used to be like 5 hours, 6 hours, which is typically bad for me. But now it's like 1 hour, 2 hour. And I feel like it overall brought like a really positive like aspect to myself. Like just like living in the moment. Like imagine like you're with your family and you're just sitting there on your phone in a whole nother world while they're just right in front of you. Like I feel like as generation goes on, we like tend to forget that our loved ones are right in front of us, but we're not even talking with them. And I like when I look back at it, I feel like I've regretted a lot always being on my phone, like scrolling through reels. Like, you know, it's so addicting. After you scroll like 3, you keep going on and on.
I feel like social media kind of like dulls the personalization of like your own self. I feel like social media, because it shows you so many trends, like you said, like it kind of just makes you want to indulge in those trends. So it kind of like kills the personalization of you and yourself. Because if you're not like personalized about something, then you're not really yourself. You're just following what social media shows you, and you're just looking at everybody else's stories. And sometimes it's toxic to like look at other people's stories, because if you feel like they're more good looking, then you're gonna be like, oh, I want to be as good looking as him or her. I want to be as good looking as them. It kind of like just kills your personality, because social media is trying to tell you everything that you're supposed to do, when in real life it's kind of designed for you to play your own kind of game.
I agree. Like, I think I remember before, like, when I first started secondary, I really wanted to be, like, cool. So that's why I got social media. And then I was like, ooh, like, all the comparison and stuff. But then recently I've logged off, and I realized, like, there's, like you said, there's so much more to life. And I also feel like in social media, you follow a lot of people, and a lot of people follow you, but are you really that close to them? Like, do you really know them? They just follow you. But are they going to be there for you at the end of the day when you really need help? But yeah, like, I tend to keep things more authentic and less on social media.
Okay. So, our next question to our viewers, or to yourself, or to us: how can we stay true to ourselves? I'll answer this first because I wrote down something. I think it is really important to not compromise to something if it goes against your values or beliefs. I think it's really important to retain parts of yourself that is what categorize you as you, and that, like, be it your values or beliefs or morals. And that's one thing. So number 1 is don't compromise if it goes against all of the said things. And the second thing is to be vulnerable. I think I find, like, talking to someone for a really long time and, like, genuinely getting to know them, I think that is a really good way to show that I'm willing to open up to you. I feel safe around you, and, like, I want to show my most truest and authentic self around you. So I think that's the best way for me to express that, given that I'm such I'm more towards the enclosed side. Like, you're more reserved. Yeah, I'm more reserved. And yeah, I have my reasons for that, but then that's one of the main, that's what I would give to the viewers?
Whoa, 2 mics.
Yeah, 2 mics.
All right, guys. Hope this is like mega volume. So I think to stay true to myself, I would surround myself with people who value me for who I am. And
I value you for who you are.
thank you, Hayley. Thank you, guys. And like just surrounding yourself with the group of people that makes you feel comfortable, who you can show your everything to, and that doesn't force you to put up a persona and just accepts you for who you are.
The first step I would say is like actually cut out the people who you actually don't actually match with, or you, because I feel like our generation deals like difficulties with confrontation, where you're so afraid to go talk to that person about what bothers you, or like them doing, or like them forcing you to do something.
Okay, so what I think you said is true, right? So like trying to be your most authentic self and never compromising for anybody is such like an important thing to do, because going back to the topic of social battery, it like doesn't drain yourself, and like it's just important to be yourself around the people that you like, because I mean, champions keep going, right?
Hayley. It was so close.
Do you guys want to move on from this topic?
Sure.
Okay, so I think this is our last question. I think it's the most abstract, so it's gonna take us a while to really process this question. But do you guys think being original is impossible?
Honestly, I think being completely original is impossible. I think it's really hard to be original, because the way I see it is that your personality comes from everyone you've ever met and everything you've ever loved. And you take a little part of everyone that you hold dear to and take it as part of yourself. That's how we bond. That's how friends are made. That's how, you know, we make our lasting memories. So I think it's truly impossible to be completely yourself. I think everything you are is a part of people you love.
I think everybody takes a little part of other people into themselves, because it's just like what people do. It's like they try to morph other people's personalities into their own, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you're kind of being original about it, because you take from a lot of other people's personalities and you turn that into your own special, unique personality, because your personality is like affected by the environment you were in and like the people you grew up around, right? So I think there's no way to truly be original, because what if the same person had like similar friends as you and was in the same environment that you grew up in? So I think like, since there's so many people on this earth, like 8 billion, right? There's like an impossible chance that you yourself is completely original. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think like what I believe is that every thought that I have, it was derived from someone else's thought or someone else's idea. But I think we shouldn't view not being original as a bad thing, because if you think of it in a more positive light, you are a mosaic of everyone you love. And I think that saying is such, like, it brings such a positive or a more like bright view on life, because then again you look at yourself and you're like, this is what I've become after experiencing so much, meeting so many new people, meeting so many people I love. Like, this is who I am. So I think that's really cool.
I mean, I agree with all of you guys. I don't have much to add, but I guess what I have to add is like, when we have different like parts of people in us, that's what makes us original, because we, like, yes, we might have similar social circles, but it's not like exactly the same, right? And that person could mean differently to you than they mean to me, but that is also like, it's not a bad thing. That's like where you grew up, your background, everything, that's what makes you original. So it's like not impossible, but impossible at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That summarizes the whole topic.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is a wrap to all of our questions. Yay!
We did it, guys!
Thank you guys so much. You guys are such amazing guests. Anyways, thank you guys so much. We really love your insights and your views and your perspectives. And that's basically what our whole podcast is about. We just want to, connect the whole school community by hearing everyone and their views on life. So first of all, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us here.
Thank you.
The 130 takes.
Yeah. When
Quoted by
Jayden didn't
Cassley.
even finish his whirlpool analogy.
Yeah.
We will come back to that one day. Okay, I think it's time for us to wrap up.
So, what little things stood out to you guys? Make sure to let us know, and maybe we'll talk about it.
Guys, please remember to stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button.
Oh,
hit
yeah.
that notification button. I'm not gonna do this.
Anyways, stay tuned to our next episode. But for now, I hope you guys learned a lot from this episode and you can take away a lot of things and a lot of new perspectives. But for now, bye.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. My legs hurt.